All right, Shalom. Salakia. My voice is a little messed up. I'm still trying to get over my sickness. but Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all the honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles, a great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity, and unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning, and unto the Bayat, the Dabadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. Okay, so Sunday morning camp. Lord willing, let this camp lesson be edifying unto the body and those that are new coming in, listening and learning. Okay, so we're gonna go into the people of this world. The people of this society, they do what they can to obtain that corruptible crown, that crown of pride, which is ultimately going to be their crown of shame. Shame, because the people here in Babylon, aka America, they're prideful as all hell. Okay, they lean into their own understanding, follow after the ways of the world, and that goes with 2/3 of our own people, because 2/3 of the nation of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, and the speckled bird, whose father's seed line goes back. Okay. Excuse me. You 2/3 of our own people, or join. They follow after the ways of the world. They've joined unto the heathen. Okay. They don't want to repent and come back to their power, the true power. Okay, the power that created the heavens, the universe, everything. Okay, and we do this to obtain an incorruptible crown by following the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability, because we're fighting for that eternal life, that perfection. Salakia. So we're going to get started with the book of Matthew. This is going to be the book of Matthew. It's going to be chapter 4. Book of Matthew, chapter 4, starting at verse 1. And it says, "Then was Yahushua led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil." Verse 2, "And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward and hungered." Verse 3, "And when the tempter came to him, he said, If thou be the Son of Yahweh, command that these stones be made bread." Verse 4, "But he answered and said, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High." Okay? So, man shall not live by bread alone. Okay? Sure, food keeps our bodies sustained, but what ultimately keeps us sustained is this word. Okay, because the Lord, he's the one that controls everything. He created everything, and he gave us everything. Okay, he could take it all away, but he can keep you sustained as long as you keep your faith. Excuse me. As long as you keep your faith in him and trust in his word. That's how you live. Verse 5, "Then the devil taketh him up into the holy city, and setteth him on a pinnacle of the temple." Verse 6, "And saith unto him, If thou be the Son of Yahweh, cast thyself down, for it is written, he shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against a stone. Verse 7. Verse 7. Yahushua said unto him, it is written again, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy power. Okay? Salakia. So, and don't become prideful and test the Lord's patience. Because if you do something that you think is daring or cool, or that's going to make you feel like you're on top of the world, Yahweh Shemel Shai just may and let you go and make that one slip up and mistake and cause you to be humiliated or worse. Okay? Never tempt the Lord. Never do. Because you never know. You don't want to test him. Verse 8, again, the devil taketh him up into an exceeding high mountain, and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world, and the glory of them. Verse 9, and saith unto him, all these things will I give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me. Excuse me. Verse 10, then saith Yahushua unto him, get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, thou shalt worship the Lord thy power, and him only shalt thou serve. Verse 11, then the devil leaveth him, and behold, angels came and ministered unto him. Okay? So fasting for 40 days and 40 nights, and then being tempted by the devil. Okay. So, it doesn't matter, in this society, in this world, this current world, this current era, it doesn't matter. These riches, these fancy cars, these high-paying jobs, these beautiful houses, etc. All this stuff, it doesn't matter. Excuse me, but because it's all temporal, it's all going to be broken down and destroyed anyway. And that's what the people of this world have their mindset on. They want to be rich, chasing after that bag. Okay, trying to create some sort of a legacy of this society for themselves. And it's not going to do them any good. In fact, let me get let's see. Let me get the book of Mark real quick. This is going to be the book of Mark, chapter 8. Slacky about my illness. It has my allergies. Just even worse right now. But I'm doing my best here, so bear with me. This is the book of Mark, chapter 8, starting at verse 35. And it says, for whosoever will save his life shall lose it. Let me read that again. Mark 8 and 35. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it. But whosoever shall lose his life for my sake in the Gospels, the same shall save it. Okay? So, trying to look for a way to save yourself in this society, it's only going to lead you to a dead end. Okay? You have to be willing to lose your life for this, for the gospel, for the sake of the Lord and the Gospels, His Word. Okay? In order for you to obtain that true life. Verse 36. For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? So, excuse me. So, you have everything in this society. Okay, is it worth facing damnation? Is it worth facing judgment? Okay, because this stuff is, you have to understand that this society is not going to stand for much longer. To hell with this place. It's all bullshit. Everything about it is bullshit. The majority of the people here are bullshit. They're all about the bullshit. Lies, deceit, okay? So, is it worth condemning your soul for these worldly riches and all this other crap? No way. No way. Verse 37. Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? Okay? So, roughly paraphrasing, the Lord is not a respecter of person, nor does he take his reward. Excuse me. So, what can you give in exchange for your soul? Really nothing. Okay? Verse 38. Whosoever therefore shall be ashamed of me and of my words in this adulterous and sinful generation. And that's the generation that we're living in right now. Adulterous, sinful as all hell. Of him also shall the Son of Man be ashamed, when he cometh in the glory of his Father and with the holy angels. Okay? So if you're ashamed of the Lord, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua will be ashamed of you. Okay? Because you don't stand firm and true with him and his word. All right? So your heart, your mind has to really be in this. You have to truly believe in it. Okay? This is your one and only opportunity. If you are of the elect, Lord willing, Lord willing, that we make it out of this hellhole on the first go around. And we don't die in this place. Okay? Okay, we're going to go to Galatians. This is going to be the book of Galatians chapter 5, verse 16. It says, "This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh." Okay? So keep your mind focused, being in these scriptures. Okay? Be diligent in learning and studying and gaining more knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of this book. It'll help keep your mind off of the distractions of this world. It'll excuse me. It'll help keep your mind focused on what's most important. Okay? Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua and his word takes top priority, even over your job, your family, everything. Okay? Verse 17. For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary, the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. Okay? Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua has it in our spirit. He programmed our spirits to be righteous. But the thing is that we're fighting against this flesh, which was specifically and purposely designed to be sinful. Sinful. Okay? So we're fighting every day for discipline and self-control. Verse, let's see here. Verse 18. But if ye be led of the Spirit, ye are not under law. Verse 19. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanliness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulation, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in the time past, that they which do such things should not inherit the kingdom of the Most High. Okay? So, adultery, sleeping with another person's spouse, idolatry, worshiping false idols, witchcraft, following up other philosophies and doing all sorts of other stuff. Hatred, rebelliousness, variance. Excuse me. You know, all this, everything that America is what I just read. You know, idolatry, adultery, fornication, lasciviousness, uncleanness. America, this place is completely abominable. Abominable. Okay? And the people that do the things of which I just read, they will not inherit the kingdom. Okay? You have to separate yourself from all of that stuff. Leave it all behind. Okay? It's not worth your life. Verse 22, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. Okay, long-suffering is another word for patience, because the word patience means to suffer. Verse 24, and they that are Hamashiachs have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts. So that means when we came into this, we put away that old stuff, the stuff that we were into when we were in the world. You know, like smoking weed, eating abominable foods that are against the law. You know, going after your best friend's girl, or you know, cheating on your husband, or whatever the case may be. Whatever it is that you were doing in the world. But when you come into this, you have to realize that you're not that same person anymore. Salakia. This illness has really got me messed up, but I'm doing the best I can here. All right, so verse 25. It says, if we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Verse 26, let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking one another and envying one another. So let's not be seeking our own vainglory, glory that don't mean shit. You know, don't be prideful, don't be provoking one another, don't be competing against one another. Don't be causing strife amongst the brotherhood, okay, amongst the sincere believers, okay? This is not a contest thing. This is like a team, excuse me. This is a team effort, okay? Because we're all striving for the same goal, and we're helping each other along the way. As the scriptures say, roughly paraphrasing, iron sharpeneth iron, okay? We're there to build each other up, to make each other better. Help each other with our weaknesses and turn them into strengths. Okay? Okay, now we're going to go to chapter 6 in the book of Galatians, and I'm going to start at verse 3. And it says, for if a man think himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself. And what does that ultimately speak of? That speaks of pride. Because remember, once again, pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Okay? So that's, you know, the Lord hates pride. He hates it. Pride is an abomination in his eyes. Okay? When you lift yourself up and think yourself to be something when you're nothing. You know, that's how a lot of people are in the society. They think that they're self-made, or that they can do it by themselves, or they look down upon others like they're superior to them when really they're not. Okay, you have to understand, you are better than nobody. Okay? Excuse me. Verse 4. But let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone, and not in another. So, you have to, you know, prove yourself in this truth. Prove your diligence. Okay? Prove your faith. Okay? Prove that this is for you. Prove that, you know, prove to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai that he means everything to you. and that he matters to you first and foremost. All right. And then you can rejoice in yourself alone and not in another. Okay? Now we're going to go to 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 24. 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 24. And it says, "Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize? So run that ye may obtain." Verse 25, "And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things." Now they do it, talking about the people of this world, they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. Okay? That corruptible crown, that crown of pride, and which is ultimately going to be turned into a crown of shame. Okay? Because they seek after the bag, they lean upon their own understanding, they follow after the ways of the world, these man-made philosophies, the pseudoscience, you know, thinking highly of themselves. Okay? All for that corruptible crown. Now it says, but we an incorruptible. That incorruptible crown, you know, being humble, sincere, loving, and peaceful, disciplined, and not thinking of ourselves in a prideful manner. Okay? When you're in this truth, you have to remain humble, because Yahweh Shemel Shai chose you, to receive the mystery. And when you come into this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, you have to take it seriously. You can't take, this is not something that to be taken lightly or something to, you know, boast about. Even though we're given this opportunity, Yahweh Shemel Shai can still take the spirit away from us and have us go right back out into the world. As the scripture says, you know, that dog returning, as the scripture says, you know, the dog returning back to its own vomit. Okay? We don't want to be that dog that returns back to its own vomit, meaning we don't want to be that old person that we were, going back to our old ways. Okay? We are to leave behind our old ways. And this is a race. Run that you may obtain. So get this knowledge and get as much knowledge, wisdom, understanding that you got, because Isaiah chapter 33, verse 6, thy wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time and the strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. Okay? So the more you know, the better off you're going to be. And the more stable you're going to be mentally, because we're going to be coming into hard times next year. Okay? 2023, this is, you know, Yahweh Shemel Shai is making it known. All these mass shootings and people dying from these illnesses, earthquakes, you know, volcanoes erupting, you know, the people rising up against their governments, and the war that's going on. You know, how much more next year in 2024? How much more worse is it going to get? You know, and people can't see it. They just continue. They just act like nothing bad's gonna happen. Everything's under control. America's got it. We've been through worse. We're gonna bounce back, but America's on its last leg right now. So when the time comes, man, when you know, things start getting real, and like I said, the more wisdom and knowledge and understanding that you have, it's gonna be that much easier for you to deal with it. I'm not saying it will be easy. It'll still be difficult, but the more you know, the better off you're gonna be. So you gotta prepare yourselves mentally and ultimately spiritually, because everybody's gonna go through a hard time, even the elect. Okay, verse 26. I therefore so run, not as uncertainly. So fight I, not as one that beateth the air. So we must move with purpose, okay? Move with a sense of urgency, okay? This truth is our purpose, and we have to move accordingly, okay? We can't be slothful. We can't be prideful. We can't be putting it off, okay? We cannot, don't tarry, don't wait. Keep up with it. Be consistent to the best of your ability, okay? Okay, now we're gonna go to Philippians chapter 2. Philippians chapter 2. Starting at verse 3. Let nothing be, Philippians 2 and 3. Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem the other better than themselves. So, once again, let nothing be done with strife, starting, arguments with one another, debates that could lead to, a separation or a breaking up of the body, You got to learn to be on one accord with one another, being like-minded. You'll have to be on the same page here. But, you have to look at it as if, excuse me, you have to look at it as if, okay, you may have a certain skill, but this brother over here may know or have a skill that you don't have. Okay, you have to look at it like, I know some things, but this person over here may know some things that I don't know. Okay. It doesn't matter how good you are. There's someone out there that is just as good, if not better. So once again, you can't be prideful. Verse 4, look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. So, you have to, you can't be, okay, there's a fine line between being selfish and selfless, okay? You have to, being in this truth, treating others that are, treating other sincere believers, you have to have their own interest at heart, You have to have the best intentions and interests for them at heart, You gotta learn to look out for one another, so to speak. Verse 5, let this mind be in you, which also was in Hamashiach Yahushai. Verse 6, who being in the form of the Most High, thought it not robbery to be equal with the Most High. Verse 7, but made himself of no reputation, and took upon him the form of a servant, and was made in the likeness of men. So Yahushai came in the flesh. Yahushai came in the flesh, and he came meek and lowly. Verse 8, and being found in fashion as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross. So Yahushai became obedient and remained humble and kept the law, statutes, and commandments perfectly, even unto death. And in doing so, verse 9, wherefore Yahweh also hath highly exalted him, and given him a name which is above every name. That name is Yahushai. Yahushai. Verse 10, that at the name of Yahushai every knee should bow, of things in heaven and things in earth and things under the earth. So when Yahushua returns and the kingdom is established, every knee is going to bow at his name. Not just his appearance, but his name. Okay? That's the power and the glory and the authority that Yahweh gave his son, Yahushai. Okay? He is going to be ruling for an eternity. King of kings, Lord of lords. Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. Verse 11. And that every tongue should confess that Yahweh Shai HaMashiach is Lord, to the glory of Yahweh the Father. Verse 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Okay? Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Okay? That, it's good that, you're helping others, but ultimately, you got to do what you got to do for you at the end of the day. You got to you got to prove yourself worthy before the Most High and His only begotten Son. You got to do what you got to do for you. Okay? Because, like I said, everybody's been given, the people that are in this truth, the sincere believers and the prophets, we've all been given this opportunity. Given an opportunity to do better, to get better, ultimately to get right with the Lord. Because the times that we're coming in, we're going to need the Lord on our side, because it's about to get extremely dangerous out here. Okay? When the prices in the stores get too high, blackouts, amongst other things, that can cause a society of people to riot, go crazy, to say to hell with the government, to hell with the police, to hell with the courts, to hell with everything. Basically, in a survival of the fittest scenario, chaos and anarchy. We're gonna need the Lord to be our shield and our guide. Okay, let's see here. Going to first Salakia. It's gonna be going back to 1 Corinthians. It's gonna be chapter 15, verse 58. Excuse me. Slakia, I apologize for my illness. My allergies, my allergies just all worked up. Just made it a lot worse. Okay, this is 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 58. It says, therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as you know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Our labor is not in vain. So if we stay true to this work, keeping our hand to the plow and being consistent and doing it to the best of our ability, we'll be rewarded. We will be rewarded for our hard work. And the Lord is going to make sure of that. But, we got to go through some things. We got to go through some things. Okay, that's the Lord testing us to see if we do have faith in how we apply wisdom, and how do we walk with wisdom in these days. Okay. Now, we're going to go back up to, this is going to be the same chapter 15, but we're going to go up to verse 1. Excuse me. Moreover, brethren, I declare unto you the gospel which I preach unto you, which also you have received, and wherein ye stand. Verse 2, by which also ye are saved, if ye keep in memory what I preached unto you, unless ye have believed in vain. So, once again, the Lord had given us the opportunity, okay? And by this word, that we keep it in our minds, unless we believed in vain, unless, we slip up and unless we slip up and we forsake this word, then our belief was in vain. We never believed in it at all, okay? You can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out, okay? You can't be iffy. You have to have both feet in or both feet out. Okay, for the scriptures say that, roughly paraphrasing, I would not have you lukewarm. It would be better if you were cold. Because if you were lukewarm, the Lord would spit you out of his mouth. The Lord wants you to be on fire for him. He wants you to be hot in this truth. Okay? Hot meaning he wants you to be on point every single day. Okay? He doesn't want you being lukewarm. He doesn't want you half-assed in this. Okay? So, we've been given this opportunity to prove to him that we are worthy. So we have to do what we got to do. You know, regardless of what our situation is, we have to do it. Okay? Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is a man of action. Okay? You could say this and say that, but if he doesn't see it through your actions, what does that say about you in his eyes? You know? All right, this is going to be the book of James. James chapter 1, verse 26. James 1 and 26. If any man among you seem to be religious, and bridleth not his tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, this man's religion is in vain. Is vain. Okay? So, if any man among you seems to be religious, and bridleth not his tongue, meaning just to keep his mouth shut, but deceive his own heart, you know, like, you know, going off or contradicting himself, then his religion is in vain. Is vain. I mean, it's not it means nothing. But here, this right here, this book does not lie, and it doesn't contradict itself. It's just that certain things in this book are a stumbling block. Okay? Not meant for certain people to understand. This is not for everybody. This is only for us select. This is only for a select few individuals. The elect. Okay. Now we're going to go to 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 18. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 18. And it says, for as much as ye know that ye were not redeemed with corruptible things as silver and gold, from your vain conversation received by traditions from your fathers. Verse 19, but with the precious blood of Hamashiach, as of a lamb without blemish and without spot. Okay, we were redeemed by Yahushai's sacrifice. Okay, that was something that he had to do to save Israel. Ultimately, first and foremost, to save the elect. Okay. That was his mission. Verse 20, who verily was foreordained before the foundation of the world, but was manifest in these last times for you. Verse 21, who by him do believe in Yahweh, that raised him up from the dead and gave him glory, that your faith and hope might be in the power. Okay. So, you know, Yahushai died for us, and he was manifest in these last times for us. This truth, the spirit of Yahushai is in this. The spirit of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, is in this book. Okay? It was made manifest in these last days for us, so that we could wake up out of this veil of darkness, out of this society of lies and deceit, so that we could understand what is going on and who we are and whose we are and who we belong, you know, and who's in control of it all. Okay, now we're going to go to the book of Baruch. Baruch, chapter 4. give it, Salakia. Baruch chapter 4. Baruch chapter 4, verse 1. And it says, "This is the book of the commandments of the Most High, and the law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die." Okay? So keep the commandments and live. Okay? Why? The 2/3, they don't want to keep the commandments. Okay? They've already chosen who they follow. They've already made, basically, they made their own deathbeds, and now they got us, ultimately at the end of the day, they got to sleep in them. But when they come back to the loins of the elect, and they're reborn again in the kingdom, shamefaced, and held in contempt for a certain amount of time, that's when they're going to understand and realize that they fucked up, that they should have listened when they had the opportunity. Verse 2, "Turn thee, O Jacob, and take heed of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated." Verse 3, "Give not thine honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto thee to a strange nation." Okay? And sad but true, but the 2/3, even they are accounted for as a strange nation because they choose not to repent. They choose to dwell in the ways of the world and follow after the customs and the courtesies of the heathen. Okay? They are not of the Lord's flock. They would prefer to stand against Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua instead of standing with him. So ultimately for that, their punishment is death. And they will know and learn death by pain. And when they come back in the kingdom again, they're going to know better. And they will know better to fear Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Verse now. And, like I said, this gospel is not for the other heathen nations. It's not for Esau, Edom, the so-called white people. It's not for Moab, the so-called Chinese. It's not for Ammon, the so-called Japanese. It's not for Ishmael, the so-called Arabs. It's not for Ham, the so-called Africans. It's not for Japheth, the so-called Pacific Islanders or Polynesians, etc. It's not for any of the heathen nations. It's only meant for the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, and the speckled bird, whose father's line goes back. And the speckled bird are the Israelites that look like the other heathen nations because, remember, we were all scattered. So you're going to have Israelites that are going to look like so-called white people, Chinese, Japanese, African, Polynesian or Samoan, etc. Okay? You have to remember, your nationality and bloodline and heritage is determined by the seed, or AKA the sperm of your father. Whatever your father is, that's what you are. Okay, now I'm going to get Isaiah. Excuse me. It's going to be Isaiah chapter 1. Isaiah chapter 1, verse 16. And it says, "Wash ye, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings from before mine eyes, and cease to do evil." Verse 17. "Learn to do well, seek judgment, relieve the oppressed, judge the fatherless, plead for the widow." Okay? So we are to wash ourselves, clean ourselves up, do better, examine ourselves, and to do better every day, and to keep ourselves in humility, and to give, and to be charitable to those that are poor, meek, and humble just like us, and that are struggling to make it. Okay? We're supposed to provide comfort to those who are oppressed by giving them this word. Verse 18, come now, and let us reason together, saith the Lord. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. As white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. So, we were, roughly paraphrasing, to be purged of our old sins. When we came to this truth, the Lord gave us a clean slate. A clean slate, meaning, to start fresh, to start anew. Verse 19. If ye be willing and obedient, ye shall eat the good of the land. So if you be willing to do this and be obedient unto the Lord's word, you will prosper. You will do well. And the Lord's got your back. He'll take care of you. Verse 20, but if ye refuse and rebel, ye shall be devoured with the sword. For the mouth of the Lord hath spoken it. Okay? So, keep the laws, statutes, and commandments, and the ordinances of the Most High to the best of your ability, and ye shall never fail. And I'm going to close out here with the book of Psalms, chapter 55, verse 22. And it says, cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. Okay? Whatever it is that you're going through, fast and pray to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, and he will take care of it. Okay? Verse 23, but thou, O power, shall bring them down into the pit of destruction. Bloody and deceitful men shall not live out half their days, but I will trust in thee. So, the Lord is going to be our avenger, okay, against our enemies, which are these other heathen nations, and including the 2/3 who turned their back on the Lord, okay? So once again, the world, the people of this world, they strive for the masteries to obtain that corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible, okay? As the scriptures say in Revelation, come out of her, my people. That's not talking about like a physical movement. It's talking about spiritually leaving behind the ways of this place. Forsake this place because it's no good. This is the valley of the dry bones, and it's soon going to be a memorial because when the kingdom is established, this place will be a memorial of our captivity. Okay? So, I hope that this was an edifying lesson. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, B'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, B'Hashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles, a great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Bayat the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. See you in the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharallah, Wa Abavabal, Shalom, Barakatam.